guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how I make this cute basic kind of halter top. I did leave all of the ends unfinished. You can totally weave these in and then just have like a cute basic halter top, but I feel like these kind of like unfinished projects are starting to get like really trendy, so I kind of want to do more of those. So anyway, I will have the full written pattern with sizing tips available on my Patreon. The link will be down below in the description box. And yeah, I guess that's it. For this project, I'm going to be taking the Paintbox Yarns Cotton DK. This is a lightweight 3 and it's in the color Coffee Bean. I will also be using a 4mm crochet hook. To get started, we're going to begin with the cups, but they're going to kind of be worked sideways, but you can still take your regular measurement for a cup. I am going to be walking you through my size small, so this will roughly fit anywhere between a 32A to a 34B, but I will have the written pattern available on my Patreon with sizing tips. So I'm just going to begin with a base chain. So I'm beginning with a base chain of 22, and I'm going to be working in half double crochets because I want it to have a little bit more of a hold and structure to it, and I don't want it to be too see-through, which is why I'm not working in double crochet. So I'm just going to go through that second chain from the hook, wrapping the yarn around my hook, going through that chain, which is a yarn over pull through, then a yarn over pull through 3. So then I'm just going to place one half double crochet in every chain going back down the row. So now I have made it to the end of my row with half double crochet. I have placed my last double crochet through that last chain of the row, and I'm actually going to continue placing chains in that very last chain to make the round, and then we're going to be working along the wrong side of the work. So I am going to place a total of 3. So I already have 1. I'm just going to place the second half double crochet and then the third, and with that tail you can just weave it in as you go, so you don't have to weave it in later. So now I've made my way around to the other side. We are going to be working in the opposite side of the row, so it is a little bit harder to see the chains, but just try your best. You're going to have a total of 22 chains, so just make sure you have the same number on both sides. And I'm just going to go back down the row, placing one half double crochet per chain while I weave in the tail. So now I've made my way back to the very bottom of the row. I'm just going to chain 1 to bring up my work, flip it over. Cannot get my camera to focus, so I have this annoying light on, so sorry about that. So I'm just going to place my hook through that very first chain connected to the chain 1 with my first half double crochet, and I'm going to make my way all the way until I reach the turn. So I'm just going to work into that first half double crochet of the turn, and then in the very middle, which is going to be the second half double crochet in that turn of 3, we're going to add some increases there. So I'm just going to work up until that point. So now I have made my way to that very corner. So I will just be placing 3 half double crochets through that very corner chain, just like we did in the previous row, and then just go into the other side as normal with half double crochets. So now I'm just going to continue my way back down, placing one half double crochet per chain. So now I have made my way to the end, and just like the previous row, you're going to chain 1, flip over the work, and place your first half double crochet in the chain that's connected to the chain 1. I'm just going to make my way up, but this time I'm going to not work up to that very corner, the second half double crochet in the 3, I'm going to work up to the one before it. So we're going to be adding increases in 3 of the turning chains. So I'm just going to work up into the second to the top chain. So now I've made my way to the chain that's the second from the very top. So in the second to the top chain, I'm going to place a total of 2 half double crochets through that chain because the turn is getting a little bit wider, so we want to compensate. And if you don't add extra increases, it's going to begin curling. We don't want it to curl too much, we want it to lay pretty flat. So then in that very corner chain, again, we're going to be placing a total of 3 half double crochets. And then in the chain next to it, going back down to the other side, we're going to place a total of 2. So I'm going to make my way down to the bottom, and then for the next row, I'm just going to repeat the pattern for this last row. So I will be back once I have finished this row and then the next row. So now I have finished that next row as well, and I'm just gonna continue for 2 to 3 more rows of that last pattern that we just did, the pattern for that last row. So I'm just gonna continue this until I get the width that I want, and I will come back and let you know exactly how many rows that ends up being. I'm gonna guess actually maybe 3, so I'll come back and let you know, but you're just gonna continue that same pattern. So now I have finished. I did end up doing an extra 3 rows. So now I'm going to begin on the bottom portion of the top, chain 1, and then I'm going to go work my way up with half double crochet, and I'm going to stop 4 chains from the very top. So I'm going to stop right here. So now I've made my way up the side. So I'm gonna flip over the work, and then I'm gonna go straight through that first chain with a slip. So I'm just gonna place 1 slip stitch through that chain, and then 1 slip stitch through the chain after. So we will always be placing with the first 2 chains of the row, 1 slip stitch in each. And then I'm just gonna prepare for a half double crochet and go through that very next chain of the row and continue the remainder of the row in half double crochet. So now I've made my way to the end of the row. I'm just gonna begin as normal and go all the way back up. So I'm gonna be working back up until the last chain of that row that we made. And then again, I'm gonna repeat that same row of doing a slip stitch in the first 2 chains going back. So I'm just gonna continue that you can continue that for as long as you would like the top to be. So it's gonna kind of fit you sideways across your bust, and then this is gonna go down, this portion is gonna go down your rib cage. So you can make that as long as you would like. So I am gonna continue that for a total of 6 rows. So I'm just gonna finish that off, and then all you're gonna do is make 1 exactly identical. Just repeat that same pattern and do a second cup, and then I'll be back to show you how to do all the straps. So now I've finished off both sides. I ended up ending off on one of the side corners. You could cut and tie, but you could do this several ways. So I'm gonna have straps along the middle. There's gonna be a strap for the top, and then the sides for the back. So I'm gonna chain off on this so that I have a bottom strap. So I'm gonna end up chaining off probably like 100 for each strap, and then I will come back and let you know how many I end up doing for the middle. So now that I have all of these straps completed, I am just gonna work on the center. So I'm just gonna connect the 2 cups together with a basic double knot, and then I'm gonna connect every row together, and I'm just gonna make sure they line up. And so I'm just gonna do a couple crochet chains across, and it's gonna depend on how wide you want your center to be, but just line it up carefully and just do basic single crochet chains. So I just wanted to quickly show you, I ended up putting it on my knees to stretch it out while I was crocheting. I have all of these to weave in, but this was the easiest way for me to see if it was exactly straight. But yeah, you just want to make sure that none of these chains are larger. This little first one only has 2 chains across. And then this one has like 5, this one has 9, sorry, this one has 5, this one has 9, and then so on. So I think this one has 20. So you just need to kind of measure it to yourself. I ended up attaching the very top just with a double knot. But yeah, so that's basically it for this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll have the full written pattern available on my Patreon, and I will see you in my next video.